Well, hey guys, while perusing the dollar store for any interesting items I might be interested in, I came across this emergency USB charger. How it works is you put some batteries in it and connect it to your USB device, like your phone or whatever, to charge it up. And it gives you a limited time because batteries can only hold so much. I guess that it takes 2 AA's. It doesn't really say on the packaging, but here it is. And for a cheap $1 item, it does not seem that bad. It actually seems like it's made half decent. I don't know if I can get the... oh, there we go. I put batteries in it already. I measured the output at 4.8 volts, so there's some sort of boost converter inside. Well, like Big Clive says, let's take it to bits. Well, it comes apart easy enough, non-destructively, so if I don't pop this thing when I test it, I can put it back together. And it's just a little boost converter, as I figured. Not much to it. 2 resistors, 2 capacitors, a diode inductor, and a little 6-pin chip there. And best I can read, there it says 3019 on the top. Of course, battery voltage goes in here and output to the USB. Well, I googled boost converter 3019 IC, and this is what I've come up with. Seems to be a LED boost converter chip. There's the casing. All the pins, when I look at the board, it seems to match, you know, how it's laid out on the board. Internal schematic. That's the absolute maximum ratings there. Seem to be running it at a very low voltage, because it says here the minimum operating voltage is 2.5. So, you know, if it cuts out, you know, you're not going to really use the full capacity of the batteries. And let's see here. Switch current limit 500 milliamps. Okay, so maybe it can put out a decent amount of current. Well, I didn't really look too deep on this data sheet, but seems like that's the chip they're using. Let's hook it up and see what happens. Okay, I have it hooked up to the power supply, and I'm set for 3 volts. And why aren't we focusing? There we go. And it's putting out 4.86, you know, about 4.9 volts. I did vary the voltage from 2 up into 5 volts, and it did maintain that. Of course, this is open load. There's no load on the output. And it dropped out about 2.1 volts. It suddenly dropped from this level down to like 2 volts or so suddenly. So at least this IC runs down to around 2.1 volts. Well, I have the output connected to a 10 ohm resistor, so at 5 volts that'd be 500 milliamps. Also scoping the output, 500 millivolts per division. We got a 2 volt peak to peak waveform at around 600 hertz. Seems to be running a lot slower rate than the data sheet was indicating. And the DC output is 2.5 volts, so I figured it wouldn't be able to hold that. with 500 milliamps available switching current, especially trying to boost the voltage and all that good stuff. You're not going to get constant 500 milliamps of output. So yeah, we'll increase the resistor, see if we get a value that it can hold at about 5 volts. Okay, I switched to a 15 ohm resistor at 5 volts. That'd be about 333 milliamps. I switched the scope to DC couple because I wasn't seeing a waveform. It's nice and flat, so it must have been that chip must have been in some sort of current limiting. It was oscillating, and it's about there, 4.8, close enough. Very interesting. So it's actually delivering what it should be doing at that current rating, which should be able to charge some phones and some other types of USB devices. Okay, I have it hooked up to the load, and I'm scoping across the inductor. I want to see the waveform with the load. It does jitter a bit, but it's operating at around 650 kilohertz. Okay, got it reassembled, and just slide the cover on. We're good to go. A couple things I did test. Well, I did notice when driving that 15 ohm resistor, the circuit board did not get warm. I mean, just slightly. So it is very efficient. I also measured the batteries, or the current draw from the batteries with nothing connected, and it was drawing about 1 milliamp. Another thing I did is short circuit the output to see if there would be any damage, and it survived that, no problem. And finally, I have it charging my music player. As you can see, there is actually working. It's charging up my music player. So, interesting little find for $1 at the dollar store. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching.